knows, God sees, and God cares. I was born and raised in the little rural countryside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it is pronounced Lancaster, not Lancaster. That's how we know, like, who's in and who's not. Like, where are you from? Because it's Lancaster. And I wasn't raised Amish, also not Amish, okay? But my father was. And I was raised Mennonite. And it's crazy to think of where you came. Do we have any Mennonites or Amish here today? Is there any? Checky, is that you? Oh, no, okay. It's challenging to find Amish everywhere because they're not allowed to fly airplanes. They're not allowed to fly in airplanes. They're not allowed to drive cars. They're not allowed to have electricity. Women do not wear pants. In fact, they're not even allowed to have buttons on their clothing. It's held together by pins. So good luck for the clumsy ones among us, because you're going to be stabbing yourself. And there's just a whole list of do's and don'ts. And even though I didn't grow up Amish, I grew up under this subculture of works. And so, honestly, I'm a good rule follower. I'm a good rule follower. Any other rule followers here? Like, you're good. You're like, you can check out, like, what do they expect of me, right? I can read it, and I'm going to deliver. And so I grew up truly with a heart for God, but also kind of controlled by this subculture that believes that our good works are what qualifies us for heaven. See, the Amish don't believe in salvation. They're non-evangelical. So they work hard just to get to heaven in hopes that their good works will get God's attention and they get to spend eternity with him. And so even though I didn't grow up Amish and I grew up Mennonites, I'm not going to go into the church history of it all, right? I believed in salvation, but somewhere those works, they just kind of seeped into everything that I did. And so I worked hard. I was a good kid. I listened to my parents. And then at the age of 13, I was invited to my first youth retreat. Y'all, I was in the big leagues. I was so excited because I got to hang out with the cool kids. I got to do fun things. I got to go to the retreat center, okay? And the one night, they put on this VHS, not giving away my age here, and it was showing this video of a youth revival. It was happening somewhere in the world. And all I remember is these young people with passion, and they were running to the front of the church, and they were worshiping God, and they had hands lifted. They were singing together in unison, and my heart was so gripped. It's like God was knocking on my chest, saying, "This is what you were created for." I started getting emotional. I had to leave because, top 10 things not to do at your first youth retreat, cry. Okay, so I left the building and I went down to this little creek. And I sat on some stones and I just started talking with God. I said, "God, I want that." He said, "You can have it." See, that's the day I was truly born again. Because I didn't just say a sinner's prayer. In fact, I didn't say any prayer at all except, "God, I want that in my life." And so I gave him my life. That day, he became truly my Lord and my Savior. And I said to him, "God, whatever you ask of me, I will do." Y'all, I didn't know. I did not know. God don't play. He don't play. When you pray a prayer like that, he took me seriously. You know what he said without wasting a millisecond? He said, "I want you to go to public school." Now, you have to understand, okay, I'm a little Mennonite girl, okay? I went to Mennonite school, right? I wasn't allowed to wear pants to school. I wasn't allowed to wear graphics on my t-shirts. In fact, I kind of like this boy. We were kind of a thing from like kindergarten to third grade, and we write little notes to each other. You know what he said to me? Because his family was Mennonite, plain Mennonite. His mom wore a big covering and cape dresses. He said, "I love you even if you wear pants on the weekends." Yes, he did. That's true love, y'all. Wonder where he is today. I don't know. I bet you he's not still Mennonite. And so that's how I was born and raised. That's how I grew up. But when I came to this place where I gave God everything and he said, go to public school, y'all, I didn't know a heathen. I mean, I didn't know people who weren't born again serving Jesus Christ. When I say that, I am telling you the truth. I was terrified. I had maybe watched some movies I wasn't supposed to watch. And I knew what they did in public schools. They throw you up against the locker. They take your lunch money for drugs. I mean, that's what I thought. I don't know. Little did I know our public school, because of the Amish community, was so small. The whole school was about 550 students. Our principal was born again, spirit-filled, so the Lord knew how to break it to me gently. You know, he really did. He was so good. But God knows, God sees, and God cares. See, he knows more about me than I know about myself. And friends, he knows more about you. You may have labeled yourself. You may have called yourself a rule follower. You may have thought, well, I was born here and I have to stay. But what happens when you pray radical prayers and you begin to trust God with your life? He is going to use it. And so that radical prayer took me from public school to Bible school, and it took me to South Africa. At the age of 21, I moved to South Africa as part of a missions team. And there, God did something so radical, it literally changed the rest of my life. At the age of 25, I stepped into an arranged marriage. I could feel the glimpses in the room. Yeah, like, a what? I liked her until now, you know. It was arranged by God. Not by men. Yeah, now see, you like that a little better. I know. But still, it's not like people coming up to me from high school going, hey girl, heard you met a man through God. Good for you. Oh, he's divorced? Oh, ideal. I mean, 7 children? Girl, look at you. He's 20 years older than you? Okay. They have names for those kind of men in marriages. Yeah, see? Sugar daddy. Listen, that wasn't the case. But when I prayed, God, whatever you ask of me, I had dreams. I carried them close to my heart. I had been journaling to my husband literally since I was probably 10 or 12 years old. I had a stack of journals. Dear beloved, what's he gonna look like, God? He's gonna love children. He's gonna want to be in ministry. He's gonna give everything to just follow you. He's gonna be as passionate. He's gonna be able to lead a strong, independent woman. You know, this is the man I was looking for. But I didn't realize God knew what kind of relationship I needed. I was worried about how the package was wrapped, and he's saying, oh, but I know you. I see you, and I care. So my husband and I, just yesterday, we celebrated 16 years of marriage. Woo! Come on. Now see, God doesn't necessarily deliver to you in the way that you're looking for it to be delivered. But I promise you, when you surrender, whatever that looks like, it may look like you giving him your innocence and your hopes and your dreams. Maybe you come from a completely different place, right? And maybe it looks like you giving God your trauma and your broken dreams and the brokenness. But I promise you, friends, wherever you come from, whether you think you come from a place of wholeness or you come from a place of brokenness, God is inviting you closer today. And my question for you is, what can you trust him with today? Because whatever it is, friends, God knows, God sees, and God cares.